Greetings. This is Pastor Pleasant coming to you from the sanctuary. And in my heart today, I wanted to share something that God has been dealing with me on, and that is the believer's victories. It is important that we as believers understand this, that when God has promised something to you, no matter what you're experiencing, it does not nullify the promise. And I want to speak into your hearing today about living in victories before the battle. Strange topic, isn't it? How can I have a victory before I even go into the battle? Well, when we're dealing with God and when we're dealing with the way God orchestrates things, He's already gone before you to make crooked places straight and rough places plain, to exalt every valley and bring down every mountain. And this is the promise that God gave Joshua, a young man that had taken over for Moses when he was taken off this earth. He was a little shaky at first because Moses led the people the way God ordained him to lead. He was concerned if the people would even trust his leadership. But because God called Joshua, God made sure that the people will have confidence in him. So he was told by God and the people of God that if you will do what Moses did and follow God, we'll follow you. So here's Joshua facing the biggest battle of his life, a city called Jericho. In the second chapter, the Bible says that Joshua sends two spies in to kind of survey the land. And what is amazing about this is that when they arrived, there was a woman by the name of Rahab who was a prostitute living in the walls of the city of Jericho. That's how fortified these walls were. That's how massive they were. In studies, you will find out that they could do chariot races around the top of the walls, real thick walls. But what amazes me is that when they got into Rahab's house, she gave them a report on how the men of Jericho's hearts were when they heard that Joshua and the children of Israel were coming their way. You see, Rahab gave them a report that the men's hearts in Jericho, their hearts had already fainted in them because they heard the report of God's people coming their way. So what am I trying to say to you is that God will take the fight out of your enemy before you even go into the fight. And Joshua discovered that instead of fearing Jericho because of how big their walls were, the focus needed to be on how big our God is. And I want to say this, that no matter what we're dealing with in our world today, God is always bigger than anything that we can encounter. So I really want to send you some hope today that God is in control, that God has this thing worked out already. Your enemy has already been defeated. Jericho, in the sixth chapter, the Bible says that Jericho walls fell down flat. Why? Because the people of God obeyed Joshua's instructions. He informed them to march around the walls one time for 6 days. And then on the seventh day, march around the wall 7 times. 7 means complete. When you completely obey God, The victory that's already secured by God for you can be obtained by you because God has already worked the situation out. So I want to just leave this in your spirit today that no weapon formed against you and myself shall prosper. And remember this that the victory is already won before you even go into your battle. This is Pastor Pleasant. Just a short, quick, powerful word to you to just encourage your spirit today. We've already won. The Bible says, thanks be to God who giveth us the victory and always calls us to triumph. Lift your head up. Tell somebody else that the battle's already won. Somebody wrote a song that said, don't wait till the battle's over. You can shout now because you know in the end, we're going to win. Until next time, this is Pastor Pleasant coming from the sanctuary. May God bless you, warrior, victor, conqueror. May God bless you.